This is the Dueling Guard 2.5 EV0 deck box featuring Lelouch and C2 from Code Geass. This deck box costs about $80 US and is pretty cool. Hi, I'm Tony, and I'm not really that into anime. I mean, I like the classics like Cowboy Bebop, Berserk, and Cory in the House, but ultimately, anime ain't really my jam. But when I saw this Code Geass deck box, I knew I had to have it. But is this any good? Is it worth the price, or is it just another pretty showpiece to keep on my shelf? Well, since the day I bought it at MagicCon Atlanta, this has been my EDC deck box. I carry it everywhere I go, and even if I'm not going to a shop, I still throw it in my car. I have some thoughts on this deck box and Dueling Guard as a whole, so let's get into it. Before we go any further with this deck box review, I want to say I am not affiliated with Dueling Guard in any way. I have not contacted the company. I bought this deck box with my own money, not even from Dueling Guard. I picked it up off a table, a random vendor in MagicCon Atlanta. And I didn't pay full price for it because it was on sale. I paid $50. I also want to make a blanket statement over this whole video that I did not baby this deck box in any way, shape, or form. I was absolutely brutal with this deck box like I am to everything that I test. I tossed it in my trunk, I tossed it in my back seat, and I sat on it. But that last one was an accident. With that being said, who makes this deck box and what features does it boast and what were my first impressions? This deck box was made by a relatively new company, Dueling Guard, whose ads have been absolutely just taking over my algorithm. They specialize in deck boxes, playmats, and other anime coded card accessories. And I'm not the biggest anime dude out there, but even I recognize a bunch of their offerings. They have stuff for Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, and they actually have something for my favorite anime that's out right now, and that's Chainsaw Man. Honestly, I gotta say the first impressions of the site are good. I like the deck box designs I'm seeing, and I like a lot of the art. However, I have dealt with a lot of TCG accessories that have had anime stuff plastered over them in the past, and those have been of low quality, which I can say before spoiling the rest of the review, this isn't necessarily of low quality at all, but I have seen a bunch of anime stuff that is definitely stolen art. So I did do my due diligence and check through all of the art offered on Dueling Guard of things that I might be interested in, and some of the more popular items. I looked to see if I could find artist attribution for their pieces. I was able to find the art from my deck box by someone named Yair Asarnart. Tried this so many times. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I might be just a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. And I did a quick reverse image search to see if that art was found anywhere else, and no, that artist did seem to make that art. I was also able to find the same artist did the art for the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender deck boxes and accessories they have, so that's very cool. I was unable to find the art for the Chainsaw Man deck box, so that is my first critique to Dueling Guard. Please attribute your artists correctly. Put them on your website, put them on the physical box, at least the box that these boxes come in. That would be fantastic. And speaking of the box that these boxes come in, let's get to the features that this box claims to have. It says premium vegan leather, a microfiber interior, 34 neodymium magnets, a removable dice tray, 2 card holder slots with a combined capacity of 240 plus cards. No mention if that's single or double sleeve, but we will test that. And a fully modular design. As far as first impressions go, the box that the box comes in is nice. The front shows off the art that will be on the interior flap of your deck box. It is a nice, simple back design, and I know I'm going to date myself with this, but opening that box for the first time felt a lot like the first time I opened my iPod Touch with Macy Gray on the front, just that premium iPod experience. That's how I felt anyway. Anyway, let's get to the actual unboxing of this box and my first impressions of that I filmed a couple weeks ago. Okay, first impressions of this box are nice. I really like the deboss design on the front. Looks really nice. The vegan leather is tasty, but I can tell that I'm not eating the real thing. The magnets are strong, there's no complaints there. The fit and finish are also pretty remarkable. The fact this box comes apart into 4 separate parts is interesting. I assume this is so you can admire the entire art piece by the artist, which is cool, but it does seem unnecessary. I like the interior lining of the cups that hold the decks. I hope those hold up over time. And the dice holder seemed rather spacious. I shoved 2 decks inside the box immediately and they fit fine. One was double sleeved, one was single sleeved. I was able to use the finger holes to get the decks out, no problem. I then just dumped some of the dice from my dice bag into the dice holder, and then I just closed everything up for the first time to see how it feels. And then I did a quick shake test just to see what would happen. First impressions were really strong. And then for the next 3 weeks, I took this deck box with me everywhere I went, whether I was going to a card shop or not. I let it live in my back seat, in my trunk, the entire time, not even in a backpack. And I used it as my primary deck box to hold my heaviest decks. I also made sure to shove as many cards as I could in the box and overfill it. And of course, I did a shake test, which I will present to you here. So honestly, after all that, what did I think of this box? Well, honestly, my overall review, I kind of like it. The overall fit and finish stayed relatively together for the 3 weeks I was using this deck box. The vegan leather actually is really strong, to be honest. Like, there are visible signs that it's been rolling around my trunk for a while, but like nothing that really takes away from the aesthetic of this box. There's one contact point on the sleeve that holds the deck box together that seems to be coming out a little bit. It doesn't seem to be affecting the structural integrity of the box, and I could snip it, but I wanted to wait until after this video. Otherwise, you really can't even tell that it's there, honestly. I had to kind of really look for it. The hinged parts of the fabric also seem to be holding up really well, but like all things that are hinged fabric, eventually this will come apart. However, I will say I don't feel like this is going to come apart anytime soon. As far as deck capacity goes, for double sleeve decks, you're looking at about 105 cards, double sleeved, mostly foiled out deck. That will fit very comfortably in there without damaging the cards. For single sleeved, it feels like something like 125 relatively foiled out cards in each slot, so that's pretty good capacity, all things considered. And the dice compartment can actually hold 40 single sleeved cards, which is great for tokens if you want to carry your tokens in this box. And the dice compartment can hold dice. It actually holds a bunch of the little Chessex tiny dice. Be warned, if you do actually use those though, they can get stuck if they get stuck put side by side in the dice slot. But it can actually hold 12 of our beloved Magic the Gathering spin down dice, which is great. The magnets are really strong out of the box, and after 3 weeks of opening and closing the box over and over again, sometimes just like fidgeting with it like this, like I do this a lot, the magnets are still really strong, so that's nice. I did the shake test with this box like I showed you earlier, and I was able to get the cards to fall out, but only after I was able to channel my repressed rage that I'll never get another Jack and Daxter sequel. Honestly, a lot of effort was needed to make this thing open. Some of the most effort from any deck box of this kind of design. After the second week, I absolutely just trusted my very prized and loved equipment deck to this deck box and my Kaiser deck to this deck box, and I felt fine doing so. Let's talk about the one nitpick or negative thing I have to say about this box. While it is easy to get single sleeve decks out of this deck box, like without opening the whole thing up, for double sleeve decks, there is a little bit of a finger hole, but it's hard to actually get your finger back there to grab those out of the box without pushing it down that one more notch, which is by design. Clearly they have it notched on both sides, which is great, but I don't know, it's just a little nitpick. It's not actually bothering me that much, but it's something I want to bring up. You have to kind of open up the box all the way to get your double sleeve decks out of the box, which is fine. And that's my only nitpick I have. Now I have some notes I'd like to maybe suggest. I wish you offered more single variant versions of this deck box. I see that you have one for something, some Yu-Gi-Oh! Blue Eyes card. I think you have one single deck box, which is good. I like that a lot. I don't know if it's the same quality as this, but I'm going to just go on a limb and assume it's the same thing. If it's not, and anyone knows that they're like entirely different deck boxes, let me know and I'll re-review. But if they are functionally the same thing, but just slicing off one of the deck holders, then I think that's really cool. I wish those came more variety, because I am a single deck box per deck kind of guy. I like have each deck have its own deck box. So this double deck box isn't like super useful for me personally. I will actually end up using this for my two-headed giant deck, my commander deck pair that is for two-headed giant explicitly. Yeah, I wish that you had more single deck box offering, and I wish you had something like the Ultimate Guard Archive. where you could hold 8 decks together and just kind of like a big storage system to take them all around. Maybe without the dice trays, just 8 slots and some anime thing. Oh, and that's the other thing. I wish they had some boxes that just didn't have the anime on it. I think some solid color deck boxes would also be pretty cool. But those are all just notes. Those are not nitpicks. For the product you're offering that I am holding in my hand, I like it a lot. I think it's very solid. I do actually trust my expensive decks to this deck box. I have no problem recommending this if you want to hold specifically 2 double sleeve commander decks. They're heavily foiled out. I think this block will do a great job protecting them. If you want to hold the tokens or dice with them, I think this is great for that. I think 80 is personally a bit much for any deck box, but it's not really just to be a deck box. Kind of like the academic. I think these kind of deck boxes are there to be like showpieces. Like you put your favorites to favorite things in there. And if you're into anime, you might like this over the academic, or if you're not into anime, you might like the academic over this. But I think these are the kind of things that these deck boxes are actually for. Like we're kind of leaning into that sneaker culture a little bit, and the higher price tag is also part of the appeal. It's something exclusive, it's something special. So I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have these kind of things. And that's my review of the EV 2.5 deck box. I think it's good. Let me know if there's any other deck boxes you want me to review. Let me know if there's any other accessories you want me to review. And if there's anything else you see out there that you want me to talk about, let me know. I am very interested in doing so. But I guess that's about it. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Magic the Gathering content. I'm Tony, and I love you. Tell your dad I said hi.